Today we're sitting down with the founders of the Koffee Krew, an open mat that's become a staple in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community here in the Bay Area. Koffee Krew isn't just about rolling. It's a space where practitioners from all levels come together to train, share knowledge, and build a tight-knit community. I'm joined today by Ben, Kiko, and Fernando. 3 individuals who put their passion into creating an environment that highlights the true essence of jiu-jitsu. Hi guys, welcome to the podcast.
How's it going?
Lucky, you know what I didn't like? That you used our government name, but you didn't use Kiko's government name. That's not his real name. Some people are still on the run, saying.
Okay,
I don't want to say, you said inclusive, but you forgot to say sanctuary gym too as well. That as well.
There you go.
So I'm just saying, I don't want to throw it out there. I don't know. I'm not saying
official.
Any names. I'm just saying.
You're not saying any names.
Okay, go ahead. Francisco.
Francisco Gonzalez, thank you very much.
There you go. Let's get started. Each one of you can tell me in your own way, what does jiu-jitsu mean to you?
Jiu-jitsu to me really is something where I can deal with stress and get some exercise. That's what it is to me. I've been teaching kids classes and I found that I really enjoy it. And so I look forward to doing that, planning games and things like that. So it's something that I can get away from work and everyday life, basically.
And I want to do a quick plug for Kiko. If you saw him Saturday, handling all those kids, we're going to start a side hustle. It's going to be Kiko's Kiddos Daycare. So hit him up. We're going to give you guys the information at the end if you need your kids watched. Kiko knows what he's doing.
Fernando, how about you? What does jiu-jitsu mean to you?
I guess just my life, man. Like, that's all I think about, honestly. Yeah, I deal with stress and everything, and everything in between. We all have different things going on. But even through those moments, I'm thinking about jiu-jitsu all the time. I can't wait to get to the gym and do my thing, teach the kids. Like Kiko says, I teach a teens class. It's really rewarding, like watching them do the move that you show them, and like they come out to you. Even the parents, like they come out to me and they, like this past Saturday, right, a parent came out to me and I didn't know how much of an impact I had on them. And I'm starting to really understand jiu-jitsu is a big thing for me. It is.
How about you, Ben?
I just want to add to Fernando's comment if I can. Is that okay?
Sure, go for it.
No, it's his story and everything
No.
like that. But I just want to add, it's the other place too, and you forgot to say this, bro, okay? It's the one place where you can murder people and not catch a case. That's the underlying. He's giving you all these other things, but that's the real truth, right? Because you should see our thread. He's showing videos of him elder abuse on Kiko. Seriously, he's beating the heck out of Kirby. I feel so bad for Kirby. I don't know why Kirby shows up anymore.
There's a reason why Ben lives in Temecula.
It's really bad. It's horrible, bro.
He's the instigator,
He
right?
just stays away.
I'm just telling you what I see as an observer. Okay, that's it. Wait, that's it.
No, you said it wrong. Observer.
English is my first language. You know that? This is Kiko Senko language, and he speaks it
That's right.
better than I do.
I'm highly
That's for
educated.
Sure. Highly educated. Now, for me, jiu-jitsu is this. Honestly, I love jiu-jitsu a lot. Like, I love training, things like that. But it's grown into this. Kiko, I've known Kiko since, like I said, since we were 10 years old, right? And jiu-jitsu, even though we kept a friendship, jiu-jitsu has really helped us solidify that friendship a lot. And Fernando, too. I met Fernando, back in San Jose when we were at Battle Dome, right?
Yeah.
And Fernando was like my nemesis. He knows he was. He would show up, and I was like, that's the guy that I'm going against right there. All the time. We were just going at it. Like, we would go at it. We were blue belts, and we would just try to, like, you'd think we hated each other. And then he would disappear for a little bit, and he'd come back, and he was better. And I was like, just get me mad. So, but that's what jiu-jitsu is for me. It's jiu-jitsu for sure, learning techniques and training and stuff like that. But also there's just this lifelong friendship and community that comes out of it. That it's almost like a club, right? You go there and you come there, and it's a space where we can come hang out. And nothing else matters. When those doors close and we're on the mat, it's like the whole world disappears. Yep. And we're here hanging out, we're having fun, we're laughing, and I can have the worst day. And you hear people, it's very cliche because people say this all the time, but it's the truth. If it's a common thing that people say, it is true. And we come in here, we hang out. The minute we're on the mat, we just start talking trash. And it's fun. It's like everything, nothing else matters. Now I got to come up with one-liners. I got to make sure that I don't get my feelings hurt. I got to make sure my technique's on point because this guy's going to be me all day. So
it's true. He ain't lying.
So Kiko, what's his nickname?
We just call him Big Ben.
right
He's
on.
always been big.
Yeah.
He's always been bigger than me since he was 10. I was like, I'm what, 4 years
Oh,
older
is
than
it
you, right?
bigger than you? Dang, that's
He's
offensive.
I think he's 4 years older than me, right? I'm 4 years older than
You're
you.
4 years older than me.
Yeah, I'm about 4 years older than him.
Yeah.
But he's always been bigger than me.
In my defense, okay, because my mom didn't cook, it's all his mom's fault. Because his mom would be cooking early in the morning, and he wouldn't even be up yet. And I'd go over to his house, and I'd be sitting at his dinner table right there, hanging out with his mom while she's cooking tortillas and eggs. And I didn't speak Spanish. All I know is, ¿quieres comer? I knew that, like, it was like, do you want to eat?
Yes,
Heck
yes.
yeah, I want to
He said that
eat.
pretty clear, too.
Yeah, so I'd be there just chilling, eating, and Kiko would come. He's like, "What are you doing here? Your mom said I can eat." So in my defense, I was always bigger than him because mom always fed me.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just saying.
Fernando, how did you meet these guys? Through
in-
jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, through jiu-jitsu. I started in 07. And yeah, Ben, Kiko, you hadn't started yet, right?
No.
I got there, and yeah, man, it was a Royal Rumble.
Ready to rumble.
So like sizing each other up all day. We were probably the only two guys from the streets there.
From the
huh?
streets, yeah, pretty much.
I already knew right away. I was like, Fernando, my boy. He comes
Right
from where
on.
I come from. We train. We're cool. We're good.
Yeah,
and we didn't even have to say it. It's just we already just knew.
Has jiu-jitsu shaped your life outside of training?
No doubt.
Okay, like in what ways?
More calm.
You're calmer?
Yeah, it makes me like think more now. Before it was just a reaction. And I still have my moments, you know, but I understand like one little moment could change my entire life. Yeah, so now it just makes me think. I think more now. You know, so I don't know if it's I think it's part of jiu-jitsu, but I'm also like maturing.
You're getting older.
There you go. There you go.
Kiko knows. He can say that. We will agree with that. Kiko, you do know what you're talking about
This
when
is
it comes
true.
to that, being older. For sure, bro.
How about you, Kiko? How has it changed your life?
It made him look handsomer. Let me just tell you right now. Like,
With those years, right?
Kiko could be an ear model. If you've never, I wish you could do a close-up on those ears.
Well, I have
You
before.
don't even have to.
I have.
You don't have to. Actually, you can see it
I've
from right
done
there.
some of his photography for his apparel.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, look him up. He's an ear model, right? Because of jiu-jitsu, he has a career, a professional career as an ear model.
So you don't hear me, though.
Dad jokes.
No, for me, honestly, it's, I think, patience. And then it helps me stay somewhat fit. I'm banged up, but you're fit at the same time, right? You're exercising. You're trying to exercise outside of jiu-jitsu to, especially as you get older, you want to exercise more outside to be held together, to avoid injuries. So those types of things. But patience for sure, where I don't react, I relax, try to think about things more. I think I've always been a little patient, but this has helped more.
How about you, Ben?
Definitely, I agree with Kiko. He's always been patient. He has. No, I'm being serious. He's always been the patient. If you know his brothers, you're like, yo, Kiko's the more patient one. If we brought his brother Felipe in here right now and you did a podcast with him, first of all, you would need subtitles in 20 different languages. 'Cause sometimes I don't even know he's speaking English sometimes. But yeah, you would be like, yeah, Kiko, you're definitely the more patient one. But yeah, for me, wait, what was the question again?
That's funny. Oh, man. How has jiu-jitsu shaped your life outside of training?
I think it's a combination of everything they said. It definitely gives you a different perspective. You take a step back from situations and be like, you walk in somewhere, you're like, yeah, I can handle this. I'm good. Like you have a certain self-confidence about yourself. And I think it also goes back to what I heard someone say the other day. There's a lot of black belts on the mat, but they're white belts in life. But I think for us, jiu-jitsu, we're black belts, but we're also black belts in life. Not that we made it all the way, but jiu-jitsu's kind of transformed into our life. Because before, in life, we were all white belts. Believe me. They used to call Kiko Pancho. Because he used to run around the poncho, but he had two blades underneath. And he'd be running around all crazy with that poncho with no shirt on. Seriously. It's like
No shirt.
30 degrees at night, and he has a beanie and poncho on. He's running around no
It
shirt
was
underneath.
warm. I had a beanie on.
It is one. But that's what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
we were white belts in life at that time without being too jiu-jitsu cliches. But it's transformed us. It's brought stability to our life that wasn't there. We needed that stability because a lot of our lives were chaotic. And when we come here, there's stability, there's safety. We know what to expect here. And I'm not saying that we're control freaks, but we can control the environment. We know what to expect. It's our place. It's our house. And people come in, they can either they come in or they don't have to come in. It's up to us. So it creates a little bit of control in our life too as well. So
Okay, that's fair. Jiu-jitsu is often described as a way of life. Do you agree? Fernando?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a way of life.
Yeah. I'm in it for the long run, man. It's like I tell you, that's all I think about. Even when I'm stressed, man, I need to go to the gym. Even sometimes when I'm at home with my kids, man, I'm like, hey, come here, mijo, let me try this move on you. You know? They don't know it, but that's how it was. Like, I would get injured, and I would grab my oldest one, because he was training like gorilla for a minute. Hey, come here, mijo, let me try this move on you, see if it works. And I'm just choking the shit out of him, you know what I mean?
Not parent abuse. That's cool.
It's training. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all training.
If there's no bruises, it's not abuse. That's
That's
not me. That's the count
Yeah.
says.
No, that's cool. And you, Kiko? You, Kiko?
Well, his name is Kiki, too. So he goes by both.
Yeah.
Kiko, Kiki, whatever. That's why he answered to Kiki. He's like, oh, what? You have a question for me? Oh, come on. It's okay. Be honest.
But yeah, no, it's a way of life for sure. It's not the only thing, but it's a big part of it for sure. Where, again, you're trying to nurse injuries or try to avoid injuries, so you change the way you're living outside, off the mats, and trying to be healthier. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a way of life. Right?
Yeah, I would agree. Fernando's the only person I know that would get hurt and come back like 20 times better. Like, I would like to think I hurt him sometimes. I put it on him, and then he would like get so mad that he had to learn to be better. No, I'm saying.
You give him drive.
Yeah. I'm telling you, those first days, he already knew. We didn't. It was unspoken. He would come like, okay, Fernando's here. It's gonna go down. And we just because I told you earlier, Carlos Mello was part of that gym, and and it was like killed or be killed. So you already knew, like, you were proving something to the guys that they want to see that you like want to train hard and be there. So it was like you go 100% all the time, and they see it and they're like, yeah, you're cool. You can come with us. You can train with us. We want you here. They invite you to different places. So it was like, all right, who's my Fernando?
Only the strong survive.
That's it. It was like, but yeah, I agree. It's a way of life. It's not the only way, like Kiko Fernando was saying, but it is a part of life. It does make up who I am. It is a part of me, and it plays a big part of my life. Like, I love this. Like, where else do we get to come in here and have this space, and we just get to be ourselves, be us, mess around, have fun.
Right.
And people love that. They come in here and they feel that, and they want to be here more. And like, how great is that we have a place that we get to do that. We got to create that.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty awesome, right?
It is awesome.
And it's not like we have to pretend to be something. I mean, growing up, we did have to pretend to be something sometimes. I know for me personally, I can only speak for myself. I didn't want to be certain things. But the environment I was in is, you better be that or else this is going to happen, right? But here, we come here, we create this space, and we just get to be ourselves, mess around, and we get to invite as many people as that we want to come in here. And people come in, they come hang out, and they receive that. So jiu-jitsu is a big part of our lives in that sense, that we get to live out our personalities and be who we are all the time here. Mm-hmm. And then just in life, too. We do that anyways. Because we have jiu-jitsu, we're like, that guy didn't like me, we'll put him to sleep. His bad.
Night-night.
Yeah, he ain't lying. You're bad. You made a mistake.
All right. So let's talk about the Koffee Krew. What inspired the creation of the Koffee Krew, and who started it? I know the three of you were involved.
I don't think it was a planned thing to do. It was something that organically happened. I think the roots, like the idea, started when we were training. I was in my garage training, and he was already at Claudio's training. So I was actually at Shamrocks, and I started training with him one day, and they started training on the ground, right? I started doing some groundwork and basically beat me up. And so then I started...
Still do. Just want to add that.
So I started hanging out more with Ben a little bit, and he was teaching me some jiu-jitsu. I think you were living in Riverside, no?
Yeah.
He was living in
Riverside.
Riverside. Was it before?
Yeah. It was a little bit. It was like a couple months, like maybe a year before.
Yeah, so because there was a period of time where I built out my garage, and so I was just training in my garage. Basically, didn't have any instruction. I would literally watch YouTube, and I was like, all no-gi, because I wasn't doing gi, so it was all no-gi. And then when you were in Riverside, he would come up and teach a move, right, for the weekend. And then I had 5 guys that would come and train, so we didn't really have a place to go besides my garage. And so when he was up, through his connections, Carlos and some of the other guys went to Salinas, Kuktars, and other places, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so then we started traveling to these places so I can get some training in. And I think that's what started that idea. That's what planted the seed of wanting to go to the places. And then when we officially started doing an open mat, we decided we should go visit a gym. I think the first one was actually Synergy up in Lincoln or Rockland.
Yeah.
That was the first one we did. Did you go to that one?
I didn't go to that one.
So it was actually Alex Northam's buddy who was up there, because that's where he trained. that was our first official road trip, and everybody's like, dude, that was fun. We should do it again. And so then I was like, yeah, let's just plan some out and try to reach out to people. So, and that's how it started, right? It was just kind of boom. And we were just the Sunday morning open mat. We didn't have a name. So that's how it officially started.
All of your careers are early mornings, so you were used to getting up so early in the morning, 7:30 a.m.
It actually started at 9 originally.
Yeah.
We were doing 9 because
Okay.
they're like, oh, you should do 9, right? The thing that was, they started a kickboxing class at 9. Since they had paying members, and we're paying members, but we were just doing an open mat for free. It was a small group at the time, but they gave preference to the kickboxing class, which was understandable because it was bringing more people that were paying. So they bumped us to, I think it was like 8 o'clock or something. So we're like, an hour's not enough, so we bumped it to 7:30, 7:30. That's actually how we started. But
Okay.
even then, there's people always complaining, oh, you should do it later, you should do it later. But those people never showed up. They
Yeah.
never showed. They're either hungover or they just didn't show up. So the
Right.
earlier we made it, more people started showing up.
Okay.
More people complained, but more people showed up. So that's why we always kept that 7:30 time. And it's, like I said, I go to church, now I go at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. So that 9 o'clock always kept it really tight. I'd hurry up and get home, take a shower and go to church. And so
Right.
that 7:30 made it easier for me.
Okay, that's fair.
And you don't want to mess with Big Vern. You don't know who Big Vern is, but she will cut you. Okay, I don't even mess with Big Vern. She don't play. She'll love you. Hey, if she's on your
Almost messed
side,
up
you're
this
all
Sunday.
good. But if you ain't on her side, it's all bad. so I'm like, just don't hurt my boy Vern, okay? We need him around. Okay.
Were you involved, Fernando, in the first sessions of the Coffee Crew?
Yeah. I actually went to Kiko's garage, and it was me, Ben, Kiko, Kenny. I think it was Berman.
Matt
Oh, yeah,
Berman.
Matt Berman, the butcher.
Yeah, the butcher. He's
The
up
butcher.
in Colorado, right? Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we started doing Sundays, and it was like, okay, cool. More training. So,
Good.
What's funny is those, because it was a really small group, right? So everybody was going hard. Right? Like, we were like really trying to, they weren't trying to hurt each other, but we're really going for the submission, you can say. So
Right.
Everybody was getting better, quicker.
Yeah.
I think, but
And people noticed it.
you
in
can't
the
do that
gym.
forever either.
Yeah.
So.
People did notice it in our gym, though. They knew.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, because I remember the first time I brought Kiko to Claudio's. Everybody was scared of him, not because he's ugly. You know,
Not because
that
of
was
the ears.
that was one part. You know, but he's a little intimidating when you look at him. I mean, I always tell him he's got a face that only his mom could love, and that's the truth.
Right.
Or Big Vern too. Big Vern loves him too. Shout out to Big Vern.
Yeah. Did you also follow
I was
Fernando?
already there.
Oh, you were already there.
Yeah, I took some time off, forced time off. So I was already at Claudio, so my plan was always to go back and go train again. I went back in 2012, and that's how.
That's about the time I
Yeah.
came back to San Jose too.
Okay. Well,
I
even
think that's around the time I was already.
You were
already
at
had been to
Eric.
Claudio's,
You
right?
were with Eric, and you remember Eric had that spot with
That's
that
right
one
after
dude.
they combined the gyms, and then that's when I met Fernando too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you were just bringing everybody together just to get better for these open mats. What challenges did the Coffee Crew face, and what did you have to overcome?
What didn't?
We're not at that gym anymore, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you have that logo, no dojo tripping,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
you don't want to say anything bad, but it causes change when
Yeah.
you don't have the ability to be free. Correct?
Yeah. The interesting thing is, it's not bad for gyms to not want to cross train. I don't think it's a bad thing,
Right.
necessarily, right? Depending on the motives, right? But at that time specifically, I think there was only one open mat really that had everybody from everywhere going, and that was One World.
That one was legit.
Okay.
So that was the one that was doing it. Aside from that, you didn't really find that anywhere. But the challenge was trying to bring people in early in the morning, obviously. It's the first challenge. The second challenge is we're not just doing it at one gym. We're trying to travel around to different gyms and getting other people to buy into what you're trying to do. And so when you tell them, like, hey, it's free, and we're just trying to come to your gym and train with your students
Right.
and make everybody better, you get some pushback from a lot of gyms.
Okay.
The interesting thing is that sometimes the gyms you think won't do it are the ones that will, and the ones that you're like, oh, this guy will do it for sure, they're the ones that say, oh no, I don't want my students to get hurt. So that's a challenge in itself, right? Trying to figure out who's willing to open their gym to other people. And then in the beginning, when I first said what we planned on doing, obviously the instructor at the time said, nobody's going to let you do that. it's not going to happen. Don't do it. Just stay here and forget about that. We didn't. We obviously moved forward, and Carlos up in Gilroy obviously opened his doors to us and said, if nobody else wants you guys there, do it here. So I was like, cool. Like, if nobody opens their door, then we're just going to do it on Sundays in Gilroy every Sunday. No big deal. We're still going to train.
Yeah, because at that time, Carlos had just opened up his gym. It was in a little DMV spot in Gilroy. You remember that little spot? You remember the first time he opened his gym? It was really small. So he's come through. I want my students to have training partners. And he already knew our caliber. That we'd go in there, go train, and put it on the students. Because that's what he really wanted. He wanted us to go put it on the students. But the other part of that, too, is all of this was just us trying to get better. That's all it was. And the other interesting part of that is there was this unwritten rule that, like Kiko says, you don't cross-train with other gyms, but they weren't keeping it honest because all those guys trained with each other underground. They all trained together. The seed got planted in my mind through Carlos, because he was a beast out here. People would invite him to go to these secret training rooms. When Kyle had first opened up, he would invite Carlos all the time to go train there. Carlos and maybe Tyson and some other guys, but it was a secret room. Nobody else could come unless you're invited. And because I always trained with Carlos, and Carlos knew that I would train hard, he said, hey, you want to come with me? He texted me in the afternoon, hey, they're going to have a training session at Kyle's. Let's go. I was like, all right, let's go. He picked me up. We go there. So I got invited to a lot of rooms that were like closed off, but they were all different gyms, right? So people, they were doing it, but they weren't open about it because there was this unwritten rule. You shouldn't cross-train with other gyms or share your knowledge or share secrets and things like that. So all we did was just put it on blast because it's like, you guys are doing this already. Why can't we do it?
Right.
Why? Because we're your students. And you want to keep us under wraps and you don't want us to go somewhere else. You have this fear or you have this lack of confidence in your own jiu-jitsu that you think someone's going to steal us. We were Claudio through and through. We weren't going anywhere. And so we were proud of where we went because it was us, Carlos, and we had a team there. We had a squad and we would just go. We'd go anywhere. We're like, we want the challenge. We'll go to any gym. We'll go train with. We don't care. We'll show up anywhere. We'll go train with anybody. Let us get in the door.
But even at that, though, we weren't doing it to go beat up on people. We're trying to get better by going to visit other gyms. We felt it was making us better.
Okay. Did you have any challenges that you faced when the Koffee Krew started?
No. Like when it started, no, because I'm Kiko, I work in construction, right? So I'm up at 4 in.the morning, even on Saturday and Sunday, and that's pretty much program time, where I took my vacation. I was already used to it.
And you always have to have your boots on.
Nah, I didn't have no problem. It's true.
People don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't wake up, you don't need breakfast.
That's right.
You gotta get up.
Okay, you guys got to tell me how he got his nickname and what it is.
I don't remember who gave it to him exactly. I believe it was Tyson.
I think it's Tyson.
Kemp. But his name is Terminator, right? But you can't say Terminator. It's not as flashy. It doesn't sound as good.
Yeah.
So Tyson, speaking in a Brazilian accent, his name is Terminate. So like, hey, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it does.
That sounds cool, right? So now we just call him Terminate.
It's because he would just destroy people. He he destroys people now. But when we would first train, he just had a gas tank. He would just annihilate people. We thought he was part cyborg. That part where Terminator, that's what the joke was. If you pull Fernando's arm back, there's all these, he's all metal because he's an android. Because there's no way that somebody could just come with that level and intensity and then just get better all the time. Like he would get hurt and he would come back and he'd be 20 times better. It's like, how's that possible? He can't be human. So that was part of the other thing. Because if you went to those training sessions, you would know what we're talking about. We were going at it, and to still keep going round after. There was no sitting out. That was the one rule. It's like you don't sit out, you go, and you go hard. And so for him to continue to go every round and just annihilate people. I mean, bouts that were higher than him, he would just take them out. And so we're like, there's no way he's human. It's not true. It can't be.
How has the open mat evolved since its inception?
I think it's a whole different thing now. It's still the same. Just on a bigger level. When we first started, obviously, we're at Claudio's. We're at one school all the time, and we would travel periodically, right? It was once in a while we travel. Now we really focus on really trying to get out to the other schools, and that actually started when we left, and a few people left, right? And people went to different schools. And so then they got the word out to those schools, and they're like, oh, come over here on a Sunday. And then I started reaching out. I was like, we're going to really focus on visiting more schools. So it's almost, except for the time when we're here at Solidarity, most of the time we're traveling to different schools, and even if it's like a repeat, but it's a lot bigger. When we started, it was 3 people, 4 people sometimes. And that was still great training.
Right.
Like all you need is 2 people and you'll get good training. But now it's, 3, 4 people. What was it in Gilroy? Gilroy's packed this Sunday.
It was like about 70 plus.
Yeah.
People
So,
had already left from the picture.
yeah, so even when we go to Cayo's, we usually go to Cayo's once a year, and that one's usually over 100 people. So it gets pretty packed. But aside from that, it's just, there's just people from everywhere as opposed to just being a handful of us. So
Right.
we're doing it in Temecula. So Ben runs that one down there. And then now we got Alex moved up to Austin. And so he's running that one. So it's blown up.
What has been some highlights or memorable moments of the Coffee Crew?
For me, getting our black belt together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was monumental for me. Yeah, because like ever since I met like both of them, yeah, we go at it or whatever, but these dudes don't know, man, I almost quit. But they kept me in the game. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, no, that was huge.
that was huge. That was
Yeah.
huge.
That was good.
What year was that?
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you and Kiko got your black belt together?
No, all 3 of us.
All 3 of
All
you.
3 of us.
Wow.
And then last year we got our second degrees right together.
Yeah.
So man, that was yeah.
That's very cool.
That was
It's
Yes.
big, especially getting second degrees from Kyle. And then to me, a name's a name, but still nice to get that and that recognition and things like that. And to think of where we started and to stick with it. Like Fernando said, he almost quit. And I think that's something that resonates in a lot of our lives. Is jiu-jitsu does bring a stability in our life, but it also helps cast a net for us too as well to keep us going. And like for me, it was people like Kiko, Fernando, Tyson that kept me going. And if it wasn't for them being there and training with me and pushing me, I probably would have never got that. And that's something to be proud of, to accomplish, because it does affect us. Now look what we have now. If we would have quit, if Fernando would have quit, we probably wouldn't be talking. We probably wouldn't have this. We probably wouldn't have affected other people's lives either.
There's something about your homie texting you and telling you he's gonna whoop your ass.
That motivates you
And
to
send
get
a
in.
You showing up tonight?
it wasn't me.
I'm gonna whoop you tonight, boy.
No, the meme game's out of control. Let me tell you, this guy,
I stepped back from
he
making memes.
had to, because his memes are going a little bit crazy. But yeah.
I'm more professional now.
Okay.
But I will say, I do want to give credit to Kiko, because we started it. We didn't start it to make it to what it is today. We just
Right.
knew that in the grand scheme of things, we were part of this school, and we want to represent, and we want to get better. And the only way we're going to do, because we had to work with what we got. We say, what are these? We go to tournaments, right? And some our guys would get smoked, or we might get smoked, and it's like, what do we have? These schools are big names. They have tons of people to train with. They have all these black belts. What do we got? Well, we got each other. We got some friends. So let's just invite whoever we got and tell them to come here, and let's all train together. Let's learn together. Let's get better. So when we go compete, we're not getting smoked. We had to pull our resources together and be very creative and figuring out how we're going to do this and operate within a certain realm where this was frowned upon big time. They had that word, was it Creonch?
Creonchi.
Yeah, and so that was the one thing you didn't want to be called.
I've been called that.
Yeah, it's like being called a lever on the streets, right? That was the one thing you didn't want to be called in the streets. You didn't want to be put on the L, right?
Right.
So here you didn't want to be put on the C, jiu-jitsu. So that was a bad word, and you didn't want to be known as that. You're no good, basically.
Right.
And what we were doing got us that status in a lot of people's eyes at first, because what we were doing was no good. But that's the thing, that where we come from, we don't care. What are you going to tell us? And I'm not saying that with pride or attitude. What we did is say, well, who cares? They're not helping us out. And if they care, then they should come help us. If not, we're still going to do our thing. And if they don't like it, then whatever, right? We're still going to be us. We're still going to do our things, because for me personally, I want to get better. And I'm not going to let somebody else tell me I can't get better, especially if I'm paying them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a business.
So
Yeah.
like, that's not my daddy.
Right.
I have a dad. But Kiko, he really helped, like a lot of it, the growth. He really helped that thing explode. Because if it was up to us, it'd probably still be like 10 of us. Right? But Kiko really saw something there, and he really started building upon that, and took it to what it is today.
Nice.
That's the nicest thing Ben ever said to me.
Well, I said something nice to you too, to Lucky earlier, but I said don't tell him
Don't
what
tell
I said.
him.
Yeah.
Don't tell him I
yeah.
said it.
He has to
Okay.
hear it on the podcast.
I can't let him know that I said that.
How important is community to you in jiu-jitsu? And what role does Coffee Crew play in fostering that community?
Honestly, I never even think about community in that sense. To me, it's like we're just coming out, we're playing, You know what I mean? We're making friends, and everybody puts their differences aside, and we have a good, solid time. Obviously, like I guess I'm a little short-sighted in that aspect, but to me, it's okay. We're here. We're making friends, and once you're friends, because you're not going to be friends with everybody you meet, but once you're friends, now you start to build that. Now you can call somebody that, hey, you're a mechanic. Yeah, I got a broken car. This guy is a doctor of some sort, or PT or something. That's how you start to build, and that's how the community kind of builds together, because everybody has something to offer, but everybody has to bring that to the table. There's always people, I think, in every community, there's people that just kind of come and go.
Take.
Right?
Yeah,
they're just taking, and that's it.
And they don't give back to it.
To me, it's not everybody that shows up is technically part of the community, but once you start to build those bonds and friendships, that's where the community's at right there. So it's almost like a community within a community.
Fernando, how important is the community to you?
Well, because we all grew up from the streets, right? So you just try to get back. That's it. I never played organized sports, or I remember when we were little and me and my brother were trying to join boxing because we used to put the boxing gloves with dudes that would go to PAL boxing. We put it on them, you know.
Same as Terminator back then.
And then, so we were trying to get organized, right? Because we were trying to get away from that lifestyle. We went to my dad, and my dad wanted to spend his money on booze, so he's nah, man. So I was like, okay, we'll just, you know. I understand not every kid has the opportunity. Even as adults, I tell some kid came on, the one, Carlos. We met him from church. Yeah. And so he went to YB, and he knows my sister because my sister works at YB. And I'm like, dude, come through, man. You know, even just come train, and it keeps them away from the street. Right. Even with my kids, I tell my kids, dude, you guys are lucky. You guys can come and train whenever you want. Some of them, my oldest one don't want to, but I got my little guy and my daughter once in a while should come and train. That's a positive thing for me.
How about you, Ben?
Yeah, I think, like how Kiko said, people talk about community, but defining it is different, right? A community means something different to a lot of people. You ask 10 different answers. For me personally, I think community is at the core of what we do, because this is a community. Like Fernando said, like, we're from the streets. And so I didn't play organized sports either because we couldn't afford it. My cousins played, my friends, they all played organized sports. And I remember I used to be so jealous and mad because we couldn't play it and I wanted to play it. So we had the streets. That was our organized sport. Like, you ain't gonna let me hit somebody on the football field? Well, then we're gonna go to the streets. But that was our community. Kiko was part of my community. And then we met Fernando. And so every time we come here, we don't even call it a community because it's family. These people are my boys right here. Like, and in the streets, I need to trust Kiko with my life. I trust him with my life. When we go somewhere, we say, hey, we're going to go over here. I'm putting my life in his hands because what we're going to go do is probably going to put us in a lot of danger, and it has. I think that kind of is brought here, and people, they see that. When we're hanging out, we're talking, and we invite people in, and they become part of it. So that is always in our core. Being part of a community, like that old saying, there's safety in numbers, there is, because there was safety with us. It didn't matter what anybody else said. We're going to do our thing. If people hate us, whatever. This is us right here. And out of that, you know, it created something even bigger that people really want. People wanted that. When we figured that out, hey, people want a place to come in and be a part of community. We put on the jams, start joking around. It's different. Nobody else was doing that. You go to any other gym that was maybe doing something like that, it was serious. You walk in there, it's like, okay.
You can feel the tension.
You can feel it. But you come in here, you got Kiko doing the worm right there on the mat just to warm up because he can't stretch anymore like that, right? The only way his body moves is this way. So he's doing the worm for warm-ups, and he's got like some P-Funk playing and stuff like that. It just changes the vibe, and people are like, this is cool. This is dope. This is what I want, right? It wasn't like... Because I remember all the training rooms I would walk into, especially comp training rooms, man, it was like, dang, you could feel your heart pounding because you knew like they were going to put it on you. But here, people are going to still train hard, but everybody's having fun. And that community, people keep that community aspect going. They're like, this is the community. It started with us. We keep that going, and it just continues to spread and grow. So, yeah, community is the biggest part of this.
So just touching on, that is one of the things we did, when we're doing the open mats for sure. You want to have good music. People are like, how come you don't got these songs, this song? I try to keep the music clean as much as possible.
Right.
Something fun and upbeat and clean, because sometimes there's kids here. We want to be a good influence on those kids, right? We don't want to put on stuff that's going to, too derogatory or saying all these things. That's not what we're trying to lead the kids or even impact them in that way. But also, like, inviting people in, saying hi to them, being friendly. Like, if somebody's walking in for the first time through the doors, I try to talk to them. I try to get around in with them and just let them know we're having fun. You can go hard, but you're having fun and we're trying to get better and set that vibe. right off the bat. Because that's how, like I said, that's how we are. We're trying to get at each other, trying to beat each other up, but we're not trying to hurt each other. As long as everybody who's showing up understands that, then everybody's going to kind of work in the same way. And I think that's how it's been. There's not that many injuries, I don't think. I think the other weekend we had two injuries, but they weren't malicious. They weren't people trying to hurt each other. But that is something that we actually have focused on, is creating that environment, trying to keep it friendly, right?
Absolutely.
And welcoming.
Yeah.
You're a part of what we're doing.
So who's the mat enforcer if somebody comes in and...
It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay? Seriously.
But the good thing is when you create a community like that, it makes people less defensive and less want to be in it. And even if they do come in like that, they're going to get around in with someone that's just going to put it on them real quick, and they're going to learn real fast. Because some people do come with those attentions, but then you have 50, 60 people, 70, and then most of those people are cool with us, right? So they already know the role, so they'll know it right away, and they'll be like, don't worry, I'll go get around with that person. And you don't have to do anything, right? Because nobody wants to mess up that environment, bro. You know, this is what, and everybody loves it. So why are we gonna let the water be tainted with ink like that? You know what I mean? Like, we can't let it. So everybody it already manages itself. We don't have to do anything like that.
I don't think we've had very many situations like that, though.
Yeah.
There's been like one or two, but they were handled
Appropriately.
We don't want people coming in here acting like that, starting stuff with everybody. That's not what we want. So those get pushed out pretty quick. It's been good that we haven't had many of those situations.
That's good. All right. Let's move on. How do you encourage people from all backgrounds and experience levels to feel welcome in the jiu-jitsu space? Fernando?
No, well, I mean,
We just don't let them roll with Fernando. Because Fernando's got one switch. It's on and off. That's it. Yeah. So it's like, Fernando, you come over here and coach. I'm just joking.
It's a life changer, right? Like I said, we're from the streets, right? So my mentality before it was like, fuck the police, right?
Right.
You grow up with that mentality, right? So you kind of school like that way, right? But then when I went to Claudio's and then I found out Carlos was the police, and right there, like I talked to him and it's just, I'm talking to Kiko, right? Many people have background. It's a job that they're doing or whatever. So it just train, man. You'd be surprised.
So for me, that, like I said, the first thing I try to do is greet if it's somebody new, especially white belts. I get messages from, hey, are white belts okay to come? Yes, white belts are welcome. I do encourage them to tell people, if you've not sparred very much at all, people are going to go as hard with you as you go with them. That's number one. Number two, let the other person know, especially with somebody who's experienced at grappling, let them know that you're learning. Most people, like I said, most people are pretty cool about it, but I think the first thing is catching them at the door when they walk in, saying hi, introducing yourself, letting them get chilled out. 'Cause most people, they show up, they're nervous. They see all these people, and especially, like I said, it's grown a lot here, sometimes 80 people. You walk in, it's your first time coming to an open mat, and you see all these people on the mat, you're like, oh, what did I get myself into? So calming their nerves a little bit, getting in there, I try to roll with them, teaching them a little bit, encouraging other people to teach them. Tell them if you have questions, you're doing a specific move or whatever, you have questions, ask. Other people are willing to teach you. And so that kind of settles things down and encourages them to come in and continue to keep coming through. So
Yeah, it's exactly what they said. It's just, we know who the new people are and just making them feel welcome right away. Roll with them, give them some pointers if they're willing to listen, and coaching them too. We sit there and coach them. The one thing we want people to know is, I don't care what school you're from. You love jiu-jitsu, I love jiu-jitsu, let's learn.
Yeah.
Right? And
Let's have fun.
Yeah, you're here on Sunday. This isn't a class. This is a place where a bunch of people that love jiu-jitsu come together and we all hang out and we learn jiu-jitsu together, whether it's through our roles or whether I can help you out with a pointer or you can help me out. And a lot of people, I think that's another reason why a lot of people come, because you got a lot of lower belts and there's 14, 15, sometimes 20 black belts on the mat, and everyone's cool. All the black, and they're willing to share that knowledge with these guys. And you have 20 different schools of thoughts, 20 different black belts, different training. So you get an array of techniques like that, right? And so I think people like that too, because they come in, they're lower belts, and nobody's trying to hide anything from them. They're willing to share with them. It's open, and that's all goes back to the environment and creating that people even are willing to share, because that's what we're doing. Like, we lead by example. Anybody that I don't know, I don't care what school they're from, I'll roll with them. I won't go hard, even though they're trying to smash me, right? Even if they on purpose, I'll still go light. I'll just work my positions and things like that. And then at the end, I'll even give them pointers, or if they had trouble with something, I'll give them pointers how to beat me. Right?
Correct.
And so, but where else do you go where you get that? I remember when we would go open mats, I only speak from my own experience, and I coach from my experiences. When we would go there, it was was like, hey, it's that school against our school.
Yeah.
And nobody was sharing anything. It was like, let's test your mettle, see how good jiu-jitsu is from your school. And we're like, cool, we're about that too then. But nobody was really sharing, and it was hard to get anything out of people. You had to be a part of the club. When we first started training, even if you were in a school and there was black belts, they had to invite you into that circle of black belts, right? You just weren't automatically accepted in there just because you were with the school. And they weren't just going to show anything. They were like, oh, okay, let's see how they do. Let's see how he trains. Oh, he's cool. He's good. And then they start inviting you in little by little, sharing knowledge with you. And that's how you get better. But here, our thing was like, we don't want to hold back. I want you to get better. I tell my students all the time, it's a selfish thing, honestly, because the better you get, the better I get. And it forces me to be better at different things. If I just stick to my game and I'm killing you with it, what good is that? And then when I go compete or do something like that, that person, he's got a different game. He annihilates me. Well, it doesn't help me. I'm not growing.
Right.
And so I want you to beat me every time. I don't care what belt you are. You beat me, good. I need to get better then, right? So that helps, and that keeps on going when we train things like that in open mats.
What advice would you give to someone new to jiu-jitsu? Fernando.
Show up as much as possible. Right? I mean, there's no secret to it, right? The more mat time you spend, the faster you're gonna get better at, and not try to go all wild. Everybody learns different, but I think the biggest thing is just slow it down and think about the techniques, and try to apply them. Because you're gonna end up in bad spots, right? But at least try. This is what I always tell everybody: just try the technique that you learned, and even if you end up in a bad spot, then you're gonna start learning how to get out of that bad spot. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. Kiko?
So I think obviously show up. Don't try submissions. Everybody focuses on submissions first. People that are new, they want the submission. It's like you're probably most likely not going to get a submission for the first 6 months or so. Most likely. But don't let that be the, what do you call it? The measuring stick, right?
Where were you training at?
There he is.
Oh, there you go.
Like I said, getting used to those small victories and getting to the position that you want to be on top and holding somebody down or passing guard. Right? Those small victories are what's going to keep you coming back, as opposed to thinking, I got to get a rear naked choke on the first night of training. It's probably not going to happen. So getting those small victories and learning the positions, the frames, just keep showing up and getting those small victories.
Okay.
Yeah, if you ask younger me, I'd be like, these guys don't know what they're talking about. You just need to go in there and just go crazy and just smash everyone. You got a point to prove. You got to show everyone how tough you are, and that's it. But now on this side of the fence, I would say exactly what they're saying.
Over the hillside?
Easy, okay? Let's not talk about age here, okay? Let's keep it clean, okay? But what they say is true, showing up, and I would always tell people, and it's an old saying, position over submission, right? Understand what you're doing. When I was first coming in, it was just like, hey, I know that works. I don't know how it works, but I'll just do it now. And especially after when I started training at Kaios, like those guys, they understand technique really well. And I was like, that's what I need to do. I would tell people, understand what you're doing. Break it down, learn it. One step at a time. I tell myself, if you learn one thing from this class, great. Then we win. There's going to be some stuff I'm going to show you. You might not catch all of it, but if you learn one thing, you're willing to purpose where your hands, head, and hips are going to be, great. That's what I want you. I want you to understand where your position should be, not just A, B, C. You put your hips here because of this. So if they could start to understand jiu-jitsu and where they should be, then that's always my advice. Understand it.
So if anybody is thinking about coming to a Koffee Krew, what advice would you give them? Fernando?
Be ready, not
Be ready.
yeah, be ready. Try to roll with as many people as you can.
Okay.
Because there's so many schools that come to the Koffee Krew, and everybody has their own game, I guess, right? And then ask questions. Like if you roll like with me, and I'm pretty sure with Kiko or Ben, even when we're done, sometimes I'll stop like during mid-match and be like, hey, do this. But sometimes I feel like they don't want to hear it. And then after I'll be like, okay, this is what you did wrong or whatever. Ask questions, man. Just try to roll with it. Like I said, with as many people as you can, and be ready for the vibes.
Cool.
Chokes with a smile.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kiko.
You're entering a friendly space, a friendly area where you don't have to be on guard. Relax, be ready to have some fun. And I think you'll get a lot more out of your training if you're loose and relaxed. Somebody's going to try to choke you for sure. but nobody's trying to hurt you, right? If you're relaxed and ready to try different positions and stuff, you're going to get a lot more out of it, and just enjoy the time on the mat. Try to absorb as much as you can. Or give them something. Maybe you're super bad and You just share what you got. It goes both ways.
Tap early.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, tap early for sure.
Tap early for sure. For
Okay.
sure. For me, I would say in that bag, when you pack your gi, pack an extra set of lungs too, if you can get your hands on those. Black market. No, but really, I would say come expecting. Come with expectation, right? Don't come in tense and think of all the what ifs. I might get smoked or this. No, don't come in with the net. Come in here and look at this as an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It really is. Because where else are you going to see so many people from so many different gyms with so many different games on the mat at one time at a tournament that you have to pay for? So you're going to be like $500-$600 and learn a lesson there for $500 or $600 when you can learn a lesson for free. And it's not going to be as embarrassing, and your pride's not going to be hurt, and everybody's cool here, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So I would tell people, hey, come here expecting, man. Be excited. Come in here because you're going to have an opportunity to learn from people, train with people, hang out with people, make new connections. Like you said, it's networking, right? You don't know who you're going to be on those mats. Like I got a plumber, I got a concrete, I got tons of people that I hit up regularly now just because and we all help each other out. I got an electrician. It's an opportunity not only just to learn jiu-jitsu, but just meet more people, put more people in your circle and hang out with them and have fun and chill. And that's one thing why it got called the Koffee Krew, because of a student that used to come, Jolene. We would train, and then we're like, hey, let's go to Pete's right across the street. Let's go get some coffee, right? And then we would just hang out, just talk and chill, and it was fun. We'd be there for an hour, 2 hours after, just chilling and hanging out, and people like that. So you get to create this other community. So I would say definitely come in, come expecting, come not nervous, but be excited, because there's a lot of opportunities here. When I do my open mats there, I have 6 or 7 black belts there. One's from Gracie Baja, one's from 10 Planet Redlands. So I'm like, look, you get to learn footlocks, you get to learn Gracie Baja's game, you get to learn all these different games right now. Ask these guys questions. They are here for you. And they're all, yeah, we want to teach you guys. So it's like you get a free seminar every time you're here. Free.
Right.
Yeah.
Great value for no buck.
For no buck. All you got to do is show up.
Yeah, and I think most of the black belts that we get here, they're all cool, man. They're all open-minded, right, to helping out. So, yeah, like all the black belts, at least that I've met here.
I think everybody's willing to share, which I think is big. Even amongst black belts to other black belts. Some black belts are better than other black belts. It's a fact. Some guys are better. Well,
definitely a fact. 100%.
I let people work a lot, okay? I'm just saying.
Call it whatever you want.
But they share. It's like, okay, I was doing something. What did I do here? Well, you're doing this, right? Because you're going to learn something from everybody. I learned a really good hip bump from a blue belt. I'm a black belt, and he was doing a hip bump. Whatever he was doing is working. Like, what are you doing? As long as you're willing to learn from everybody, I think you'll be good.
And see, that's leading by example, right? It's like, just because we have a black belt on doesn't mean we know everything. There's guys that come in here that wrestle collegiately, all this, and they got some stuff that and they show us stuff, and I'm glad. I learned doing no-gi down south, and the guys that I started training with is Guy Red that hopefully you have on this podcast, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And like my boy Luis, who just became CIF Coach of the Year out there in Temecula, but they taught me a lot of wrestling that I hated wrestling, but they showed me a lot, right? And they're like blue belts, pro belts, except
Old man grappler.
Old man grappler.
I'm a lesson up in Visalia.
I foot swept you when we're in Visalia, and then all of a sudden I saw the light going, ooh, this guy's not a chump. Yeah, we can run it back, for sure. Let's run it back.
I saw something different.
Okay.
No, what you saw is that time that we were in Texas.
Oh, that was a different time.
He did sweep me on that one. That was brutal. I was like, dang. That happened. I looked up at the mat and I looked to confirm.
You looked at the ceiling.
Look, I had to confirm. You know what I mean? Because it was like that phantom smack where you knew you got smacked, but you wanted to confirm that you got smacked. So I looked around to make sure that happened. And I looked at Val, Kiko, and Bam, and they're like, ooh. And I was like, yeah, it happened. It happened. I was like, dang, it did happen.
Where do you see Koffee Krew going in the next 1 to 5 years?
I've been really strapped for time. So it's been hard to plan things that I come up with ideas sometimes when I'm driving, and then I open my mouth and say it, right? It's like, I don't believe, throw it out in the universe. I don't believe in that or think of it that way. But sometimes when you say something to somebody, like if I tell Fernando, hey, man, I want to do this for an open mat. And he's like, yeah, you should do it. Now I feel like I have to do it.
It's always Fernando's response, too.
Yeah, he's the idea,
you should do it. That's always Fernando's response. Yeah, you should do that.
Next 5 years, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where it's going technically as far as changing it from what it is now. Obviously, we want to keep it free, right? That's something I think it should be accessible to everybody. We do want to do a really big open mat. We're trying to secure I think we have the facility secured. It should be in May. But that's the one thing we're working on right now. And I'm trying to reach out to all the schools and try to see if everybody can get together and just do one big open mat on a Sunday and have maybe 200, 300 people.
Cool.
That, and then the July trip to Texas.
Right on.
We got to try to get down to Temecula, maybe even Tennessee to go visit
Yep.
Slow Death.
Slow Death.
I've never been to Tennessee. I don't know what the territory's like.
I've been to Tennessee.
The other thing I've been thinking is I'd like to get back down to Visalia.
Oh, yeah.
Over there too, elite
Oh yeah,
team.
Elite
Yeah,
team.
with
That's
Tom.
legit.
That was so,
Yeah, they
that was,
are.
That was fun.
Tom
Yeah.
was super cool. Like the
Yeah.
whole team, everybody was cool there. Big mat space. It was.
Oh.
I really enjoyed that trip. It's just been hard to get back over
And
there.
it's
right?
grade A
Yeah.
technique too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I traveled back and forth for a whole year with that team.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And it was cool. Who do we have there that time? Gabriel
Gabriel Argis.
And he was legit. He was super cool. I
Yeah,
still
he was
use his
cool.
techniques to this day.
Yeah, so that's kind of what the things that I've been thinking about. Nothing firm besides that big open mat and then the Texas trip in July.
I think that, like Kiko said, we didn't plan any of this. It kind of took a life on its own. We had people give us tons of ideas what we should do, how we should do it. But one thing that we know is that we just want to keep training. The whole important thing is, and then invite others in to come
Yeah.
train and continue to do that. And
Yeah.
for me, 1 to 5 years, I love when we go to different places. I think it's fun. I've talked to Kiko about this
We've
a couple
talked
times.
about it, yeah.
When we do a road trip, it's 2 weeks, and we just go hit different gyms up to a final spot, and we just train the whole time up there. I don't know if I could be in an RV with this dude.
He's trying
but-
to get an RV.
Yeah, but I
That
don't
would
know,
be cool.
man. Yeah,
Super
but-
cool.
So the one dream we talked about a little bit, and I actually roughly planned it out. Nothing secure, but basically going from California all the way to New York. And just training all the way across, right?
That'd be-
stopping and training, drive across. Right? Obviously, we need to have a place to shower and stuff, cleaned up. Probably need some laundromats.
Gym memberships.
At least
Right, but
one
just
London.
hitting a gym every state, trying to get over there.
Yeah.
And I think that would be super dope. But that's gonna. I think if it was the way I planned it out, it would take 2 months.
Maybe we just go through California to start.
Yeah, so start one state, right? But,
One state at a
those
time.
but those are like things that are just, hey, this would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, right?
Everything's
and
possible.
we just document as we go. That would be 1 to 5 years. What I would love to see. Will it happen? I don't know. But honestly, personally, I love what we're doing. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, we're still going to be doing our thing and having fun and inviting people to come along and have
Yeah.
fun. Just like when we go to Texas, that was just a whim, right? Alex, I said, hey,
It
let's just
was.
go visit Alex. And then we knew, and then we just happened to know someone out there that owns a
Mark.
Henzo Gracie. And,
Mark Price out of Henzo's in Austin.
Yeah,
we used to train at Claudio's.
Yeah, we used to
together.
train at Claudio's, and so
Yeah.
we would take care of him too. He would train with us. He loved. We took care of him, and it just so happened that John Danaher teaches at that school. We got to go do that, so it's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah. So how about you, Fernando? Anything that you want to say?
We don't know what's gonna happen in 5 years, right? So
Right.
just go with the flow and
And I think-
follow this dude.
Kiko takes the lead.
Like I said, he's the idea man. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. You know,
Yeah, you're
let's
the
go.
support.
Yeah.
You're the backup.
I got you, man.
Yeah, there you
the
go.
technique, I'm the idea, and he's the artist.
Kiko doesn't agree with all my artwork, but it's okay.
No,
He comes around to it eventually. But I will say though, I think that there's something to be said about what was created in this spot. Now you see open mats everywhere. Tons of big gyms are doing open mats. Everyone does open mats. They got some legit people out of these open mats. But I just think about it. It seems like yesterday, but it was quite some time ago, and it was kind of barren out here. Nobody trained with each other. Nobody did that. And to go from that to what we see now, that's huge. If we look back at the landscape of things and how much pushback, you talked about pushback earlier, man, we got tons of pushback. People didn't want us doing it. People didn't. I mean, we got in trouble. I would go train, do an open mat on Gorilla that they always had at Gorilla on Tuesday nights, and I would tell other people at the gym. And the guy that was running, he got so mad. He said, "Don't invite people to open mat." I'm like, "Why not? I want to go train, and then I want people to come train. So I don't care. We're gonna go." But there was just tons of criticism. But the good thing is, because the way we trained, we had a little respect with the people that we would train with, black belts and stuff like that, and then they would support us. Like we had Adam Piccolotti. I think he was probably one of the first people that we had come in and kind of do like a mini seminar.
Yeah.
And Adam Piccolotti, he was our boy. He took care of us. I remember Adam Piccolotti back when I first started, and he was in Half Moon Bay. He still is. is in Half Moon Bay, but there was only a couple tournaments that would go on every year. Claudio had a pretty big one, but he had the small one called Jiu-Jitsu by the Sea. So it was all these little local tournaments at his school in Santa Cruz, and Adam would come in with this crew and just annihilate everybody. I was like, who is this guy, man? This guy is legit. And he'd just come and him and his crew would just come and smoke everyone. I was like, this guy is brutal. But we happened to meet him, and we trained with him, and he became our good friend, and he would teach us. We'd go up to Half Moon Bay, go train with him, and then through his connection. So, I think that where we're at now, I think it's pretty cool to see that. It's stuff that you don't hear about regularly. It's stuff that's not going to get written. People don't know who we are. If you ask people at a tournament who we are, nobody knows who we are. Nobody can care who we are. We're technically nobodies, right? But I feel like we did do something monumentous in this area before people were really brave enough to step out and do it. It's easy to fight a battle when there's no war, right? But it's harder to be a soldier when there is a war. And there was definitely, and that's just an analogy. We ain't never been in the military, but I'm just saying that it's different, though. It's a different landscape. And to get all the flack that we got and to get people criticized, didn't want to be a part of it, and we didn't care, though. But now everybody wants to be here. Everybody wants to be a part of it, which is cool. It's good to see that. It's like the hard work paid off.
And then, with the post, right? When you see all the, I think the biggest one has been 120 plus people.
The
you're like, man, you're just like, whoa, like we did that, you know what I mean?
And it's still underground. Like nobody knows about it, right? It's like we're the best kept secret. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of history between us three. And not just that, we have connection to a lot of history in this area. Like I was telling you earlier, like the people that we've come across that we trained with, most people won't know who they are, but they laid a foundation out here so that other people could train, and they'll never get the credit they deserve. I feel they'll never get the credit they deserve. Like Carlos Mello, like Mike Weaver, Gar Taylor. You have like these studs that, nobody will. I mean, some people will know. A lot of people knew Gar Taylor in his time. People respected that guy.
Right.
But a lot of other people, they have no idea. You say those names, but what they created and what they helped us do and help us create, like they never get that respect that I feel that they rightfully have earned and deserved. So, yeah.
Awesome. Do you have anybody else that you'd like to call out?
You know what? Somebody it wasn't even an open mat, but somebody who was super cool to me when I went to go visit. I'm not sure if you were there. I know Kirby went. Kirby was there, I think. We went to Health Gracie Berkeley with Eduardo Fraga, right? We went to a Saturday class, and they were doing no-gi. But we went in, there was a few of us that went in just to train. So go over there, introduce ourselves. He talks to us a little bit. We signed the waiver. And he's just talking to us, trying to fill us out, right? And then, how much is the drop in at first? Oh, it's this much. We're getting ready. Boom, boom. He's talking to us, sign the waivers. Go ahead and train. Guys, stay for both classes. And go change back there. Never charge us to drop in, didn't do anything. Just felt as, okay, these guys are cool. These guys are here to train. And so people like that, because they have a huge open mat on Sundays too, which I think is cool. I think when you look at all the different mats, open mats on Sundays now, it's like from, I don't even know, like down from Gilroy all the way up, even past Gilroy maybe, but all the way up to Napa. Everybody has an open mat now on Sundays, and everybody's welcome. But people like Eduardo that, he's not doing it, do I need to make money or I want to steal students. He's doing it because out of the kindness of his heart, he wants people there, people to train, or to go train at his school. So shout out to them for doing what they're doing. So, people like that are just helping push everything along. I think it's pretty cool.
Okay. Fernando, anybody that helped you during this journey that you want to shout out?
Just Claudio, just for opening the door for at least for me, you know what I mean? Like both times, right? Just when I showed up my first time, I went to Claudio, and I didn't even know, man, but I just wanted to do something right. And then the second time when I came back, he opened the doors again after they knew what was going on. Kyle's for sure after we left, and he opened the door for us. Kyle and Nick, shout out to Nick, man.
Yeah, Nick took good care of us.
Cool dude, man. Really cool guy. And Carlos Mello, Gilroy, like when we left, Carlos was like, do it over here.
Carlos has always had our back.
Shout out to them, man.
What would you like to say to anyone who hasn't experienced Coffee Krew yet? Fernando?
Oh, you're missing out. Were you here when that sheriff came in? So I've been knowing the sheriff since second grade. Were you here when he came in? And you guys were making fun of me that I only came for you, right? So I've been knowing this dude, Jose Ortiz. I've been knowing him since second grade, and he knows what I've been through, right? And he actually went to a Coffee Krew in Gilroy, man, and he was like, whoa. And I'm trying to get him to come back and train, but I don't know if it's going, but it's just, like I said, man, you're missing out, man. Just different vibes. Just a whole different vibe, man. So yeah, you're missing out.
All right, Kiko.
What was the question again?
Okay, what would you like to say to anybody who hasn't experienced Coffee Crew yet?
Well, definitely you're missing out, right? I mean, there's nothing else to say, right? It's just, it'll be, for most people, not for everybody, right? But for most people that I've talked to, everybody says, I don't like getting up early. I didn't want to get up early. But now that I did it, now that I'm here and I've been training, I get up and I look forward to coming every Sunday. Yep. So if you're not doing it, you're missing out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. It's no matter what kind of day you're having, bad day, okay day, sad day, depressed day, it's always a good day when you're on the mats on Sunday.
You still could go home after and take a nap if you have to.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, which we do. I do, for sure.
Any advice or words of wisdom for those on the jiu-jitsu journey?
Ooh, you go first.
Don't quit.
Don't
That's
quit.
the biggest thing. Show up with intention. Keep your training partners accountable. Hit them up. Make fun of them. And show up to have fun. Enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't show up to get a black belt.
Yeah.
Show
There you
up
go.
to have fun and learn.
Yeah, be open-minded. Yeah, just have fun. That's it. Don't rush things. It's not gonna happen from one day to the next. Believe that. It's gonna take time. Jiu-jitsu is not easy. It's not. I think this is probably the hardest thing I've ever done. Enjoy the journey. That's it.
Yeah, I think I'll ride Fernando's coattails and just be teachable. When you show up, be teachable. That's how you'll get the best experience out of all this, is be showing up willing to learn and let the people teach you. And remember, jiu-jitsu is almost like compound interest, right? Like, you're going to invest in it. You're going to invest in it. You might not see the interest gaining at first, but over the year, it's going to compound. And before you know it, you're like, dang, my game has exploded. But it takes time, and it takes you to be patient, and it takes you to keep investing your time, right, in what you're doing. If you're ever concerned about a gym or you're worried about going somewhere, come to Solidarity. I guarantee you 100% that they're going to take care of you, and you're going to love jiu-jitsu, for sure.
Kiko and Fernando, tell us about Solidarity and how people can show interest regarding jiu-jitsu.
So we're on Instagram. You can hit us up, or solidarityjujitsu.com. It's probably the best way, through the website. Sign up. We have classes 6:15, noons, and evenings. Kids classes also, from 4-year-olds to 14s.
14.
I'm the kids instructor for the younger kids. Fernando teaches the bigger kids. Again, everybody's here for a good time, so show up. We're Southside San Jose, Blossom Hill.
Anything else you want to say?
No, thank you, Lucky.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you for what
Thank
you
you
do
for
sure,
having
man.
us on
This is,
here, and
Awesome.
we appreciate you a lot. It's cool. Ever since you've been here, and you're definitely part of the family. So
Oh, yeah,
I
taking
already
those
told
pictures,
them,
man. We greatly
hey,
appreciate you, man.
Hey,
yeah, thank you.
Always fire.
And I
Right
already
on.
told them, and I did this but consulting you guys first. I told Lucky she's always welcome to do a podcast here.
Yeah,
Sometimes
no
she needs
doubt.
the
Yeah.
room. So
Right.
you got it
Awesome.
on tape.
So just another quick thoughts. I know. So those pictures, I think, are just as much a part of the open mat as the technique and the rolling. Like, I think people are super invested in seeing the pictures afterwards. Like, oh, let me see what position I had somebody in. Sometimes you're not in the best position, right? Person training. But I think people look forward to that. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
yeah, it's underrated. You're a big part of it. So
Thank you. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being on Lucky's podcast. I look forward to putting this episode out.
Right.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
take
Thank
care.
you.
Have a
take my
good.
stuttering off.
All right, bye.